Hello folks, this is Sula speaking, and you're watching a commentary video on League of Legends, this one featuring Sona. I'm playing in a pre-made team here, along with Speaker, who uses the username Ciderberg, who's playing as Misfortune, along with Uberfish playing Anivia, Poohmaster playing Lux, and Cole playing as Shen. And you can see the enemy team that we're matched up against at the top of the screen. I'm taking slightly different summoner skills here. If you notice down at the bottom of the screen, I've taken Clairvoyance and Flash instead of my usual Ghost and something else. So I'm going to try to demonstrate the use of Clairvoyance in this game as well. Now, for anyone who takes Clairvoyance, what you want to do is wait about 10 seconds and right at the start of the game, use your Clairvoyance on the enemy team at the fountain. So there they are, they're revealed, and then that will show us what items they're buying and also what lanes they're heading to. For instance, we can already see down there that Ashe is heading to the top lane. And so then after doing that, I can go ahead and buy. Since this is the first Sona video, I'm going to talk about her abilities in here, and I'm going to start by talking about our passive. You might notice how I'm casting spells at the fountain immediately before the game has started. That's because I'm charging up Sona's passive. Sona's passive is that every 3 spellcasts, every time she uses one of her auras, her third spellcast will charge up something called Power Chord, and it will cause her to do extra damage when she uses her auto attack. So if you notice, on the left side of the interface, next to my Q skill, and also right above that, you see the wavy line indicator. That indicates that Sona's passive is charged up, and that my next auto attack will deal extra damage. In other words, this isn't going to be enough to make any kind of a huge difference in a team fight or anything like that, but the extra damage will help you out at the start of the game, particularly when you're laning and you're trying to last hit from minions. Now, with that out of the way, in terms of how we're actually going to set up for this game, we are going to have Poohmaster up in the top lane playing as Lux, and Poohmaster is actually going to end up in a 1 versus 2 lane, because as you can see there, no one on the enemy team has Smite, and so therefore it doesn't look like anyone's jungling on the enemy team. Speaker is going to take the middle lane, and Cole is going to be jungling, and then that means that Uberfish and myself are going to be down here in the bottom lane. It's a little strange to be putting Lux instead of Anivia up in the top lane in a 1v2 lane. Normally you'd think that Anivia would be a better choice for that. However, we are not going to do that just because Poohmaster has played a lot more games than Uberfish. He's probably played 3 or 4 times as many overall games and just has more experience as a player. So that's where we're going to set it up that way. All right, in terms of top lane, you can see there's Rammus and Ashe up there. The middle lane has Corki, and then in the bottom lane, we're going to have Ezreal and Singed. So here's the Singed on the enemy team, and he does what Singed always does, that is immediately pick up and throw Uberfish, and then ignites Uberfish, so Uberfish ends up taking quite a bit of damage there from coming a little bit far forward. Alright, anyway, now that that little back and forth has gotten out of the way, let me talk just a little bit about Sona's abilities. I've started by taking Sona's Q skill. This is called Hymn of Valor, and you see me using it there. Oh wait, I guess I should back up just for a sec. All of Sona's abilities are known as auras. They have both an active and a passive function. When you use them initially, they use their active function. For instance, when you play Hymn of Valor, it shoots out 2 little bolts of energy that damage nearby enemies. But the passive feature of her aura is to increase attack damage and increase... I think it just increases attack damage. I believe it increases something else as well. But... in any case, has both an active and a passive function, and there I use Clairvoyance to see the Singed in the bushes, so I'm going to harass him with my auto attack. And there's the active function of Hymn of Valor. So essentially, this is Sona's attack skill, and during the laning phase, it's often useful to put points in this first, just so you can farm and get minions. Anyway, there's Singed picked up and tossed me, but it wasn't that big a deal. Sona's second ability, her W skill, is called Aura of Perseverance, and this is basically Sona's heal. Like right there, you see me using it. It both heals Sona and it heals another champion on your team, and it will heal whoever has taken the most damage. Now here comes Uberfish comes forward again, and there Singed picks up and tosses Uberfish, and he really probably should have gotten out of that. So they kill him, but now Anivia uses her passive, which means she'll be reborn with that egg. And unfortunately, Uberfish gets killed even in his egg form. But at the same time, the other team Singed was tower diving to do it, and so I'm able to get a kill on the enemy team Singed. Now that's a poor play. That's a poor play really on Uberfish's part. There's really no excuse for Anivia getting picked up and tossed like that early in the game. With Anivia's passive, you really shouldn't be dying that easily. So that was not a good play there. That was the benefit of their team because they were able to pick up the first blood bonus. So we came out behind in that particular exchange, but at least I was able to make it sort of not a total disaster by at least getting a kill on Singed. So anyway, that was sort of a mistake going back and forth. But we exchanged 2 for 2, or excuse me, we exchanged 1 for 1. But they do get the first blood bonus. And now Uberfish is back in the lane again. But you can see he's only level 2 because of that. And then I used Clairvoyance because I wanted to check to see if Singed was in the brush. Now, normally what you'd want to do with Clairvoyance is you'd want to be checking where the other team's jungler was in order to try and prevent them from coming out and getting kills on your team. But the enemy team doesn't have a jungler. And see, there comes Singed out from up top there. So, because they don't have a jungler, I'm just able to use it to check the brush. And there, unfortunately, they get a kill on Poohmaster in the top lane. He is the toughest assignment, being stuck in the 2v1 lane. Alright, while I have a minute here, let me just finish running through Sona's abilities since I haven't talked about them. So her Q skill is basically her attack skill. You use it to harass enemy champs, kill enemy minions, that sort of thing. Adds a little bit of attack damage to nearby champs. Her W skill is her heal. You can see me using it there. When you have this active, it increases the armor and magic resistance of nearby champions a little bit. Her E skill is called Song of Celerity, and it increases movement speed of enemy champions, or not enemy champions, of friendly champions around you. While it's the passive feature is just increased movement speed for everybody on your team, and the active feature is it gives a slight little movement bonus, gives an immediate movement bonus to champions on your team as well. So useful for chasing, useful for running away, but it's pretty much a 1-point skill. And with the damage that we've been taking in this lane, I have just chosen to forgo it entirely for the moment, and I've just been putting all my points in Sona's heal and attack spell. So while they have very fancy names, Hymn of Valor, Aria of Perseverance, Song of Celerity, you can basically think of them as attack, heal, and move. Pretty simple there. Not quite as poetic, though. Then finally, Sona's ultimate is called Crescendo, and it's the only one of her spells that she actually targets. Sona will fire sort of a cone right in front of her, and any enemy champions that get hit by it take moderate damage. I wouldn't say a lot of damage, but do take some moderate damage and are stunned for 1 second. Now, all of Sona's abilities have been nerfed very heavily over the past couple of patches. Sona, when she first came out, was incredibly strong, and so she's been getting nerfed in all the patches since then. They've decreased her ability power ratios. They've decreased her, her stun length and overall on Crescendo, that sort of thing. So anyway, she's still a very viable champion. She's probably now where she should be, and hopefully she won't get nerfed further. Anyway, I went back to buy in the lane, and in the couple of seconds that I was gone, Uberfish apparently got killed by the enemy team, and I was a little bit frustrated at that because really, again, that shouldn't be happening. I mean, I was out of the lane for, just 10 seconds, and unfortunately he managed to get killed again. So I don't know what happened, but that really should not have been taking place. Anivia should not get killed twice in the first 7 minutes of the game. And I know Uberfish said he couldn't deal with Singed, but really, Singed is a tank, and the one thing he does is he picks you up and throws you. So as long as you prevent that, it's not that big a deal. All right. Anyway, Cole requested to Clairvoyance Dragon just to make sure that no one had gone there, and fortunately, no one has gone there yet. So we're safe there, and we can still go do Dragon. I think that Cole is going to head there relatively soon. As long as we have visibility on all the champs in the other lanes, we're pretty safe. And now Speaker went up to top lane and was able to get a kill on Ashe, so that's well done. Now, see, like right here, Singed wants to come up and toss me, but, all I really have to do is back away. And now the other thing I can do is I'm going to keep harassing him over and over again. Every time he runs forward, I'm going to hit him with my Hymn of Valor. The great thing about Sona's Q skill is that if it has you don't actually aim it, it sort of auto picks who it targets. It will go after whoever's closest to Sona normally, but it will target enemy champions over enemy minions. So if there's a champion in range, it will automatically pick the champion and not the minions. So as you can see, Singed keeps running forward, and every time he does that, I get in a little bit of harassment. So I'm slowly wearing him down with just repeated harassment back and forth. And like right there, I was able to use Hymn of Valor to farm up another enemy minion pretty easily. I've heard people say that they think farming is difficult with Sona. I've read that from people in a number of places, but I just don't think that's true. I think she's a very easy champion to farm with. And like right there, Singed picks me up and tosses me, but there's really no danger. Ezreal's not close. I'm close to full health. And with my heals, the two of us will be able to stay in this lane almost indefinitely. Now, one thing I also want to point out, partly for you, Uberfish, if you ever happen to have a chance to watch this video, is try to notice the difference in terms of the farming between our two characters. Anivia is a pretty good farming champ, particularly after she gets her ult at level 6, but I really managed to outfarm Uberfish in this game. And that'll be apparent as we go back and forth. Just being careful, not auto-attacking, taking care when to attack. There's a completely wasted Ezreal ultimate. I don't know what the purpose of that was. And there we managed to get in a little bit more harass on Singed. Now Cole went down to do Dragon, and so I was trying to CV to make sure he was safe, and Speaker came down to help out too. And now Speaker's going to come forward and try to get a kill here on Singed. So he's going to harass Singed. I can see we're not going to get him, so I flash forward and then hit him with my ultimate, and then that enables us to get the kill. So I think that was a pretty nice play there. Probably my nicest play of the game there. Flashing forward, getting the Sona ult off, crescendo, and then using that to get our kill. Plus, Cole managed to take the dragon as well. So we pick up a kill, and we pick up our first dragon of the game. So that's a big win here for our team. And now Ezreal's going to have to play a little bit more defensively down here. And if you look on middle lane, Speaker is still able to get back in time to, prevent Corki from pushing against our tower. Unfortunately, Poohmaster gets killed up top just from multiple stuns and taunts between Ashe and Rammus up there. Difficult assignment for him to deal with, so I think that Cole's going to go up there and try to help save that lane. Anyway, I'm trying to be careful here to pick up minion kills as best as I can. Not going to be perfect, but I think that I could do a pretty good job. And then now that we've gotten quite a bit of gold, I'm going to go back and use that to purchase. So hopefully, I think I told Uberfish just to play cautiously here and try not to get taken down by the two of them while I was gone. Okay, now the first item I pick up here, the first real item, is Tear the Goddess. I pick up this item partly because it increases the mana regeneration, but more significantly because it has that unique passive that increases total mana on every spellcast. Every time that you cast a spell, you get 4 additional max mana, up to 1,000 total. So it's another one of those items that's good to build quickly. One of the things about Sona is she is a real mana hog. She goes through mana extremely quickly. Because when you're farming, you'll usually be using Hymn of Valor a lot. If you're taking damage, you need to heal people in the lane. So she goes through a lot of mana. And so you're going to need something to help that out. And I think Tear's a good purchase. I mean, you can go for Chalice of Harmony is sort of another option, but you can build Tear the Goddess into an Archangel Staff, and that's a much more useful late game item than Chalice of Harmony. So one reason why I tend to prefer going that route. And now here we just wanted to see where everybody was down here in the lane. And we found that Ezreal was hiding out there in the bushes. Right there, Singed came forward, and I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to do, but you could see he took a lot of damage. And again, I'm just going to keep harassing him every time. So now he's already down below half health. He's going to have to go back to heal soon. And once again, just going to keep harassing him. And then Uberfish gets in a nice blast there. And so we get him down to 45 HP, but unfortunately we're not going to be able to kill him. He just wasn't in range for me to use my ult crescendo. And anyway, at least we're able to get them to back off. He'll probably have to go heal. Speaker picked up another kill on that Corki player. Fortunately, Speaker has completely outplayed the Corki in the center lane, and Puma's been able to hold down the fort in top lane. I mean, he's gotten killed a couple times, but he's doing a good job given the situation he's in. And now I'm just going to calmly farm up these minions as best I can. I guess I should point out that Ashe arrow, if you notice back there, we actually had communication on our TeamSpeak to let people know that the arrow was coming. Otherwise, Speaker said it probably would have hit him. And that's just another one of the benefits that you can have when you're chatting together. Again, I keep CVing to see, and you can just see all their buffs are still up. Like, no one has taken their red. I don't believe anyone on their team has taken their blue. One minor thing I wish Cull had done would have been just to be a little bit more aggressive. I mean, he could have stolen a lot of these enemy buffs, and I don't think he ever went in the other team's jungle. It's always risky to go in the other team's jungle, but if they have no jungler, you might as well slip in there and start stealing their buffs. If they're just leaving them there for the taking. Alright, anyway, we're getting up to the end of this video. So once again, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and we'll continue next time in part 2.